Good evening, class. My name is Kendra A. Clavon, and I will be presenting as your plaintiff for HCA 322, Discussion 2, Week 2. I'll be playing the role as Jennifer. So let me begin here. I am suing the hospital. I am suing the hospital because, in a nutshell, they violated my rights. The hospital received a subpoena for information that the court needed, but they received the information without an actual court order. Without a court order, a subpoena is simply a request. What the hospital should have done was its due diligence, and they did not. And what that caused was a violation. What that caused was a violation of my personal rights. Just because they received the request, that doesn't mean they have to honor it in the manner in which they did. What they did was they went ahead, they sent the information, they did not get my permission to send my personal information, and it was my personal health information that was sent. Not only did they not get my permission, they did not find out specifically why the information was needed. They should have done that. They also should have given me the option. So what the hospital did was they received a request. They honored the request, even though honoring that request broke the law. So there are several ways that this could have been handled, because at this juncture, there are several ethical and legal principles that have been violated. Ethically, right is right and wrong is wrong. Morally, they've shared my information. Now, as a hospital, they have certain privacy rules, confidentiality rules in place. I don't know if it was due to a lack of training, or they haven't gotten around to making sure that everyone is well aware of the implications of an actual HIPAA violation. But regardless of the reason, they're liable because they did it. There are several ways that this could have and should have been handled. What comes to mind immediately was, because I was the patient, you should have contacted me first and asked for my permission to share my information. Because ultimately the hospital made the decision and it wasn't their decision to make. They could have contacted the court, or maybe it was an attorney, and asked them, why specifically do you need this? Do you need this information? Because sometimes there are times where someone's personal information does not outweigh the public information. And if this is something that is detrimental to the public, then there are ways that this could have been handled without my rights being violated. I could have agreed to have my information shared and just simply asked them to have the information redacted, because what it does is it puts me in a position where my information is now public record. Because once the court got a hold of it, the information becomes public record. Without it being redacted, my name is out there. My condition is out there. The reason I was treated was out there. The times I was treated is out there, because all of that information is a part of the public record. So if there was something that I didn't want my spouse to know, or something that I didn't want my job to know, or even family members, I'm now left exposed. And for whatever reason, it puts me in a position where my livelihood could now be in danger. Let's say, for some strange reason, I had HIV, and this information becomes public and my employer sees it. My employer can say, I've lost my job because I had too much time off. When the actual and factual is she has HIV and we don't want her working here. I'm no longer protected. My rights are violated. I've lost the ability to take care of myself simply because the hospital decided, hey, we're not going to follow the laws that are in place, even though we have an obligation morally, ethically, and legally to protect this person who came to our facility and trusted us to keep her protected. It's very, very sloppy to put someone's information out there without any regard to what could happen to them. So I am going to sue the hospital, and I am going to win, because what they can't defend is why my information is now public record, but I only shared my information with them. They're not going to be able to defend against that. Your personal health information is just that. It is yours. It is your private information. You keep it confidential. If you share it with them as an entity that serves the public and the community, we trust that our information is being protected with them. Also, had they asked me what I could have done, it said, okay, what I'll do is I'll get legal representation, because they may have needed my information. Like I said, there could have been a public outcry, and the public could have outweighed my individual needs, which is fine. But my information didn't have to be available to everyone. I could have negotiated where just the attorney and the judge got to see my information without it being everyone's knowledge. There were so many different ways that this could have been handled, and it was not handled. It wasn't handled properly. So now we have to remember what the overall consequences are. The overall consequences are, and you have to remember that when something becomes or is used to affect law, it becomes precedent. So if my rights could be that easily violated, that makes everyone else that comes behind me susceptible to the same thing. And that's not what we want here. You know, we live in a society where when your information becomes public, we have all kind of people out here stealing your identity or getting a hold of your information so they can take it elsewhere and use it for something that they shouldn't. We have to protect ourselves, but we also are obligated to protect one another. You have to remember the individual's interests, and the hospital clearly made themselves susceptible by sharing this information without actually making sure that the information that was shared was needed and that it was shared to the people who actually needed it. They don't know who got the information. They don't actually know what was done with the information. They really don't have a reason to have shared all of the information. And my goal in suing this facility is not just to get some money. Money's good. But it's to make sure that anybody else that chooses to use the facility is protected and that they don't have to suffer the same humiliation. Jennifer.